Sometimes I hate this life. Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of Susanne kocht, which means we are at the 5th episode. We're on day number 29 of the Austrian lockdown, which is horrible, but it seems to be working, so that's alright. And from all my cooking that I had planned for this week, I had 2 meals which I thought would be interesting. And I asked you which you wanted to see, the veggie bean burgers or some Schnitzel, and I think only one person, bless you though, voted for the bean burgers. To be honest, it was a bit of a blessing for me because I cooked them on Easter Monday, and however, I am perfect at Schnitzel because, as you may have guessed, I'm Austrian. There is this saying that it comes with your blood, but it actually doesn't, because the Austrian citizenship is dependent on if you know how to cook Schnitzel or not. So when you're 12 or 13, you get called on by the state and they say, you cook Schnitzel now, and if you can't do this, then that's it, that's your citizenship gone. And if you're born here but don't have the Austrian citizenship and they call on you all the same, and you can cook Schnitzel, you will get the Austrian citizenship from some fool who can't. That's it, that's how we all know how to cook Schnitzel, because it is a very serious matter and a matter of death and life. And no, don't fake news me, because I'm really not making this up. This is totally true, and it has marked hundreds, thousands, millions. How many are we? 9 million. Also, in all seriousness, Austrian citizenship is passed on by blood. So yeah, so let's get right into it. What you do need for Schnitzel is very simple, which is just some Schnitzel, flour and semmelbrösel, and eggs, which are still in here. And you do need a lot of plates. Why you need so many of those, I'll explain later. Because first, you need to beat the Schnitzel. I was actually meant to use this up until yesterday. I obviously didn't. So a couple of clean hands later, we are opening this up. You take out what you need. Oh god, I do hate the feeling. And what you need for it is a hammer. So don't worry if you don't actually own a kitchen hammer, because you can use a perfect interior design hammer. Joking aside, please don't use an interior design hammer. If you don't have a hammer, like me, what I prefer to do is use a glass bottle or a glass in itself, something just to hammer it down. So that's a professional measure to do that. That's my citizenship gone. What also helps to keep everything intact is using a kitchen towel. So we move that over here. Again, feel free to wash your hands. Please do, especially when working with meat, you need very, very clean hands. But if there's anything we're being taught this time, it's washing our hands. What we prepare next is the stages that this meat will go through before it will end up in the pan, which is very, very important. And we need flour, semmelbrösel and eggs. And also the order is very important. I always put the seasoning in here, so you know that fully depends on the person. The order that the Schnitzel goes into all of those things is very, very important, which is by from flour to egg to brösel. And what we also can start doing is turn on the pan and pour normal oil into it. Not olive oil, just normal oil. I don't have much left. I don't have anything left. But I do think that it will be enough for these two. I will start with the smaller one. Again, I hate it. Turn it around till it's nicely covered, and then into the eggy, and from there you make sure that literally everything is covered in egg, because it needs to stick. And from there into the semmelbrösel, and make sure that everything is covered in it, because that's literally the party piece. And where do we go from here? It's into the pan. You can already hear that one bubbling. And what we do wait for is that it becomes really lovely brown underneath. And that's just not out through toaster. It can take a while, and that's alright. In the meantime, you can get out another plate. And what you also need is, I know they're a rarity right now, but it's kitchen roll. Because this is gonna be very, very greasy, so you can remove the grease for what your kitchen roll is like. I'll show you now. As you can see, I also decided to get a new setup because my kitchen rolls are getting rare and I do need to buy new ones. But as you can also see, more importantly, is that it is starting to get brown at this end. There you go, beautiful. Unlike the Palatschinke, you can't actually flip this. At least I wouldn't suggest it. It looks good. So we'll just turn it around. Hang on, we'll briefly pause this program because I think this one is true. And we'll take it again. Oh, Jesus. Take it out, put it over here. You can see that the oil is getting very, very dark in this process, which is alrightish, but after a while, depends on how many you make, I would change it. But since I live in a oil shortage, I'm just gonna deal with it. Right, so that's number 2. For a minute because in 2 minutes my work starts and I'm waiting for my coworker to say that my PC is free, so I'm turning on my PC and yeah. I'll be right back. That's my remote office turned on and the schnitzel almost finished. Right, that's finished according to me. Let me show you something. I just put it on there and that's already all greased. So this is why you use it. Again, isn't it beautiful? Hang on, that's a phone call. I don't scheiße, das ist sogar ein Arbeitsanruf. Guten Tag. How you make the Schnitzel. And all we do now is wait for the French fries and then it's am Gurten at my side.